Welcome to Favorite Reader, where the books come alive. Join me as we dive deep into captivating narratives, explore intricate themes, and analyze the artistry behind the text. I'll share thoughtful reviews, insightful discussions, and recommendations that will ignite your passion for reading. Whether you're looking for your next great read or want to unravel the layers of your favorite stories, you're in the right place. Let's embark on this literary journey together. Today I'm going to be reviewing Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. So this is a drama/dark satire, which if you're just thinking about the genres, I'm kind of excited to already read it because typically I like satires. So if I was the main character whose name is June, she has this friend but not friend, kind of like a frenemy named Athena. June is white and Athena is Asian American. Well, so they both went to Yale together and they kind of hung in the same circles just because they did a lot of similar things. They released their debut books around the same time, and Athena's book took off where June's book flopped. June chalked all that up to the fact that Athena was Asian American and she was white, and nobody wanted to hear from a basic white girl. They wanted to hear from a diverse author. So she said, Athena has skill, but really people just want to hear from these diverse authors. June the whole time is insufferable. She goes to Athena's house to celebrate, and Athena dies in her apartment while June is there. Instead of just leaving after the cops came and the scene was set, June actually stole Athena's work off her desk for her next book. And then she said at first that she edited the book, added a lot of things, and did a lot of research to actually make it better because she wanted to pay homage to her friend who was now alive now dead, because the book would have never saw the day of light. That's how it started off, supposedly. But she ended up releasing the book under her own name, a name that she switched from June to Juniper Song, which sounded very racially ambiguous. She said that she never tried to trick people into thinking she was Asian American, but clearly everybody thought she was Asian American. The book was about the Chinese involvement in World War II, and she made it seem like to everybody who didn't know who she was that she was Asian American, which she's white. She's a very unreliable narrator, so that's why I was putting the air quotes around. She said that she never intended on releasing the book as her own, but she did. She was manipulative throughout the book, unhinged, and spiraled out of control. But what I will say is the way that R.F. Kuang wrote the book, as she was spiraling out of control, the plot kept up with that same pacing. So it's kind of cool. You can kind of see where she started to lose it. The book started moving faster and faster and faster. We were in a whirlwind the same time June was in a whirlwind. She was desperate, it showed, and the book was very thriller paced almost at that point. So I could appreciate the pacing of the plot, the pacing of the book, and the character development of June. I wish we would have saw a little bit more of Athena outside of being this rich Asian American woman who went to Yale and got everything she wanted, supposedly. I know R.F. Kuang is Asian American, so at first when I was reading the book, I thought that we were supposed to see the author in Athena, but then I looked at one of her interviews and she said that she wasn't, we weren't supposed to see her in Athena. That's not how she felt about who she was. But I know she has received similar criticisms that Athena in the book received. So even though she said she wasn't that character, it still kind of read like it. So when we were talking about Athena, I'm thinking that we're talking about the author R.F. Kuang. Anyways, the book was a quick read. I read it in about a day and a half because I just needed to see how it ended. June was very unlikable. Like I said, just unhinged. She was out of control, but we were in her mind so much that at certain times you almost wanted to feel empathetic, even though she was dead wrong, because of how much we got to see like going on in her mind. You can kind of see when she was spiraling, seeing when she was being manipulative. And the ending was just as unhinged as the rest of the book. June was out of control. The ending was just, I don't know what I was expecting, but I feel like she put a nice bow on how it would end. You kind of don't see exactly, it's not a complete closed case, but you can kind of see where it's going. It's just the cycle continues. I did like that the book dived into the publishing industry, and then like public perception, social media influence. They talked a lot about Twitter and Instagram, primarily Twitter, book bloggers and book commentators. It talked about how sometimes books are successes or failures before they even reach the public. Like it's decided ahead of time, and then the authors just kind of sit back and wait for the events of that to unfold. Well, I don't know if that's true every time. I do know that it probably happens some of the time. So I do believe there is truth to that. It was kind of cool to see the perspective of authors who, because this is their craft and something that they're passionate about, at the point where it can almost become an addiction. Like you need that public feedback. You need to be recognized. You need to get your next book out. You need to get your name known. You need to bring forth something better than you had the last time. Because June, like I said in the book, June's first book was a flop. It was about like almost like an autobiography about her, was based on her life, and then her next book was light years ahead of what she put out before because she stole it. But it was like people saw that, like you had this basic book and then you put this out and it's so much better. So obviously, people were questioning like why or how. That delved into a whole other thing. It was interesting to see that play out too. But one thing I can say was ironic is in June's book, her second book that she stole, the subject matter was so different. The style was different. It was elevated in a lot of ways. And then in real life, R.F. Kuang, this book, Yellowface, was very different, supposedly. I mean, I've been told. I haven't read her other books. But her writing style, the type of book, the plot structure, everything was very different from her previous books, like The Poppy War, Babel, and things like that. So I thought it was kind of ironic that, again, that main character was switching tunes to her career just as R.F. Kuang did. I will go back and read some of her other works because I did like how it was written. I like the perspective, but I feel like there was a missed opportunity to dive more into like the discrimination that's in the publishing industry. It was very surface level and very much June focused, but I wish that there was like an outside perspective outside of the other unhinged character. There was another sane character who we could trust their opinion to kind of give a very realistic view of what that looks like today. They did, like I said, go into like that public persona and how public opinion can kind of sway or change things, like when people get canceled, how that can affect their sales, their life, their mental health, things like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Overall, I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I would recommend it to anybody that likes satire, and it had a lot of funny elements. So if you're into that kind of thing, I would recommend it. It's not something that's like super thought-provoking. It's not something you're gonna go away and take a lot from it outside of like, it's interesting. Like I just read a blog about something about the publishing industry. That's kind of how I felt about it. It's not something that's gonna stick with me forever, I don't think. But I do think it was a good palate cleanser for me at the time, because I read it right after some really heavy stuff. So to get something that was super fast-paced, funny, witty at times, and quick, like just hit after hit after hit, it was well timed. So if you've read it, let me know below. If you want to read it or you read any other R.F. Kuang's work, let me know which one I should read next. I think I just got Babel. I'm pretty sure that's the one I just got from her. So I'll probably read that one next. But after that, what else should I read? Let me know.